Our theme this month is remains Woman Act Now. And today we will be discussing the woman and her mental space. October 10 was Mental Health Day, and this year's theme is Mental Health is a universal human right. We all know what a human right is. Everyone deserves to be mentally healthy in their space. It's up you are live, and I'm here to keep you company as usual. Let's do this, my beautiful people. Finding self, finding purpose. My name, as always, is Ezine Kufre Kanem, and I'm your host. Yeah, what is mental space? This is one of those things that you don't know how to define, or one of those things we define by what it's not. You know, you can't exactly define mental space. But I can tell you what mental space is not, hoping that our guest today will tell you what mental space is. So, mental space is not your to do list. You know, mental space is not the stresses that you're carrying. Mental space is not your worries or your fears. Mental space is the absence of all of these things I mentioned. So, having a positive, good mental space means that you have a sense of calm and the capacity to focus on and do what you choose to do. Simply put, it is the absence of overwhelm. It's being unburdened by an endless to do list in your mind. It's a good place to be at mentally, if you ask me, or how many of us are in this state right now. While you scan your head for a quick check to know if your head is in a good mental space, be kind to follow us on all our social media platforms at Up You with Azine on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We'd love to connect with you and keep this conversation going long after this episode has ended. Mental health has become the buzzword post COVID 19 pandemic because the world moved in a way that was unprecedented for all of us, the inhabitants of the earth. You know, the amount of negative theories that season movie produced is staggering, and we're still living it. I'm not sure that we have overcome that movie of that season, that pandemic.
Mm, mm.
Um, a lot of us are not recovering well from it. Our heads moved. You know the way they say, "Who moved my cheese?" I mean, a lot of us are asking ourselves, "Who moved my head? Who took away my mental stability, my mental wellness?" So um, sometimes it's easy for us to focus on on the physical aspects of our health, and we don't look at the mental aspect of it. But mental health is not something to ignore. Statistics show us that children and mothers and women are great casualties of mental instability and mental unwellness. And honestly, we will discover that mental wellness is key to living our best life, you know. And that's why we're here today to dig deep, to understand why mental space is so important to our well being. Before we dig in, I'm going to ask you to be kind enough to follow us on all our social media platforms at Up You with Ezine on YouTube, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We'd love to connect with you. Remember, the topic today is the woman and her mental space, and we're streaming live here on Facebook and also on YouTube. So join on any of the platforms that best suits you. May I remind you also that all episodes of Up You with Ezine are on our podcast and our YouTube channels. Please go follow us. Take whatever you need, watch the videos, take the nuggets you need for living your life. We'd like you to participate and contribute your thoughts and opinions on this episode as we engage the super guru that we have in the studio today. She's already in the studio and she's going to do justice to this topic. If you're just joining us, this is Up You with Ezine Live, and the topic today is the woman and her mental space. Right about now, as we engage, Lydia just came into the studio. Lydia, how are you?
I'm doing fine.
I don't know if people can hear Lydia. Ruth, did you hear Lydia?
I had a whisper.
Oh, okay. Lydia, you're whispering. Can you say a big hello?
Hello, good morning.
Great.
That's
Okay,
so
so it's time to
beautiful.
bring up our guest because our guest is already in the studio looking calm, like calm. Let me tell you guys something. I just mentioned to our guest just before now that I'm feeling a bit flustered, and she says, "Oh no, calm down, breathe in and out." So I can assure you all that at the end of today's session, you're all going to be calmer. You're all going to be very conscious and intentional about your wellness space, your mental space. So, our guest today is Dr. Ruth Goma, a developmental psychologist, family therapist, certified by the Nigerian Association of Psychology, and a life coach accredited by the Life Coaches Association of Nigeria. She has over 10 years' experience as a psychotherapist, counselor, and coach using psychological tools to assess and offer practical solutions to support individuals in corporate and family settings. Ruth practices positive psychology with a strong focus on mindfulness and meditations. She carries out extensive researches in child and youth behaviors and cognitive processes focused on offering solutions that foster learning and development. She facilitates, coaches, and mentors in large number of youth camps and symposia. An active member of the Nigerian Association of Psychology, Association of Lifespan Behavioral Practitioners, International Association of Applied Psychology, International Association of Cross Cultural Psychology, and the International Association of the Study of Behavioral Development. She has presented over 24 researched papers in national and international fora. Ruth is an avid reader, loves art, collecting perfumes, cooking, traveling, and exploring new culture. She truly loves teaching children in her local church assembly. She has done that in 13 years now. Wow. Ruth is married to Alexander Goma and they are blessed with three young adults. Everyone from everywhere watching us this morning, please join me in welcoming Dr. Ruth Goma to the show this morning. Morning, Ruth. How are you
Good,
doing?
good morning, Ezine. Good morning, the world. Good morning, the woman. It's
Good
beautiful
morning,
to
Ruth.
be
You look
here.
so, I'm telling you, it's so amazing to have you on this live.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you
Are
very
you
much.
ready?
Yes, I am ready. Can you hear
Are
me?
you ready?
Yes,
Yes, I can
I'm
hear you
ready.
perfectly.
Perfectly.
Okay, great.
Beautiful.
Now, let's go.
Yes. Well, you have invited me to talk to women
Mm-hmm,
and their and her mental space. And just like I heard
mm-hmm,
you describing what mental space is, I love your introduction of it. It is not a to-do list.
mm-hmm.
It is beyond making out a list of what you will do. Yes, it is part of it, but it is beyond it. It is not just making a to-do list and cramping up yourself again with overwhelming activities that at the end of the day would have had your mental energy spent. So I'm hoping women, ladies, young girls around the world who are able to tune in can call their friends, can call their sisters, aunts, moms, grandmothers to come on board and see what is happening. We need to talk about ourselves. We need to help ourselves. We need to champion each other's courses. And I am just so blessed that Ezine and you and your team are doing so well with pushing the frontiers for women out there to connect and access help at different levels for different stuff. And today you are doing mental space. And it's not just because the month of October, that is the month of women, the month of the girl child, or the month of mental health. It is something that is ongoing with you and your team. And I'm just so blessed to be part of it. Thank you very much for having me on. Thank you. Thank you. It's beautiful to be here.
You're very gracious. Thank you. That was good for my mental health and mental space. Thank you. So, Dr. Goma, let's go.
Yes.
Can you please share with us your personal experiences or insights on the unique mental space women navigate in their lives?
Mm. I would use myself because have
You are
experienced it.
definitely a
So
woman.
yes, clearly, clearly. And who else to use but myself? I'm very willing to use myself as a lab rat here. 15
Okay.
years ago, 15 years ago, I broke down, and short of the medical field, running, and it was manifesting like because I live in Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria, West Africa. It looked as if it was malaria, typhoid. And so by the time we had exhausted everything on malaria, typhoid that the doctors knew to do, they realized I wasn't getting well, not because I had malaria, typhoid. I was mentally exhausted. I was doing the super woman kind of thing, being a mother, being a sister, being a wife, pursuing a career, and I was exhausted, and it was manifesting in physical health. And so by the time we realized what happened to me, it was as if I was losing it. I was going crazy. And I can relate and identify with a lot of women like that. I was already in my mid 30s, and I was already like a psychologist. And yet I didn't realize that was what was happening to me. I thought I could go. I thought I could multitask. I thought I was a superwoman, and I was doing it, recording success and everything. But by the time it hit me, I realized I needed to take a break. I reached out to my senior colleagues, and of course, I accessed help. Dr. Odunsi, Dr. Ola Odunsi, and Dr. Mrs. Shola Odunsi. Dr. Odunsi was a psychologist, he was a psychiatrist with the Yaba Psychiatric Hospital. He's retired now, he's doing his own thing in Ijebu. I reached out to this senior colleague, and of course, with a lot of therapy, medication, and help, I was able to get myself back. So if you find yourself in the period where I described myself as thinking I was superhuman and multitasking and doing everything I could for my family and myself and neglecting myself, you might find out that what happened to me and I got away with might just be happening to you, but you can get away with it as well. The way I got away with it, because I accessed help. I asked for help. I owned up and said, people, I am not well. I am not good. I am not doing good, and I need help. We need to be able to tell ourselves the truth. That when you are not doing well, please tell yourself, yes, I need help. I need someone to hold me. I need someone to drag me through this. And I'm hoping at the end of this discussion, we're able to have platforms where women, especially women, since they are most vulnerable, and children can access help to helping themselves through mental pressures, through mental expectations of the society, through personal mental expectations, so that they can deal with, so that they can do more for themselves. It is if you have helped yourself, you have helped to others. Because if you're not helping yourself, trust me, I was of no help to anyone when I found myself in that situation. I was in the hospital. I couldn't care for my children. I was in the hospital. Career halted. I was in the hospital. My husband was running back and forth hospital visits. I was clearly of no use to anyone until I realized, yes, the only way I can help someone is after I've helped myself.
Mm. This is very deep and very real.
Yep.
I must say thank you to you for sharing. One word that leapt out at me as we're talking was do everything for everyone while neglecting yourself. A lot of us women can identify with this, you know, because we are will I say we are wired naturals and nurturers. We came from heaven, wired to nurture, to birth life, nurture life,
I could not realize.
sacrifice for everyone, and live ourselves. And I don't know why that is. Um, Nobody even
It,
needs to teach it to you. It's just our natural default. So a lot of us need to now start on learning it
yeah,
because the truth is you can't give what you do not have.
exactly.
Even from the short story you've told us now, it was obvious that even though you wanted to still be there and be giving, you were not in a good mental space to
No,
be
to
able to
do it.
do that. So when we do not take care of ourselves first, we run the risk of shutting down the very things that are very important to us.
Yes,
And
yes.
we may not just be there. Like you said, you were lucky, you got away with it. And that's because you sought help.
Yeah.
Many of us end up in denial. Many of us begin to judge ourselves that our strengths are failing in the days of adversity. Many
Yeah.
of us try to just keep, stealing and doing because
Mm,
we've been told
mm.
that just keep going. In fact,
You,
yesterday
you,
someone sang a song to me that we used to sing when we were children, and the song. I will sing it in Igbo, then I'll say it in English. The song was "Kamanga Wukandoliba Owa Wundolin Dolly." The song translated to English means instead of me to die or pause, let me just keep struggling. This life is all
hmm,
about what? Struggling.
struggling.
You know, and these are some of the things that we inherited from our parents,
Mm,
growing up. And that's what we're using, the mantras that we're using to live our life. Some of us even feel guilty if we pause to exhale, or if we just find ourselves with downtime. We say, no, we ought to have cooked up a storm. We ought to have done this or that. We don't take them. So thank you for using your personal story to drive that home. It will definitely resonate with a lot of women. And that brings me to, and I'm glad that you made whole. I'm glad that you are healed.
I
I'm glad
am.
that because now
I'm
you
ready
can
to
use
help.
your
I'm ready
experience
to help
to
more women
help the
heal.
rest of us.
Mm, 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 mm,
Good.
mm,
So can
mm.
you tell me, can you tell us, how societal
Expectation.
expectations impact the woman's role and her mental well-being and the woman's own mental space? How does the society help in shaping this?
All right. Beautiful, beautiful question there, isn't it? Who is society, if I ask? Because sometimes when I respond to some of these questions that I am asked a lot of times on mental health, I shake the table, or sometimes we break it. Sometimes we shatter it. Who is society? When we say
You and
society,
I.
yeah, exactly. Are we giving the bulk, or are we giving the bulk to somebody else? It is you and I. And so if the woman is part of the society, and you and I are women and part of the society, so we are the ones that make these expectations, right? And so for as
Mhm.
long as I can remember now, after I was healed, I stopped, just like you mentioned. I learned, I relearned, I unlearned to relearn, to set my priorities straight. I started to develop myself first, because I am going to be needing myself to develop others. And
True.
if these others is the society, then I have a
Mm.
say. I have a say. That is why in all of our women forum, in all of our women gathering, if we as women do not tell ourselves that we are the society, I'm not about feminism or those women equal rights to argue. No, 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 no. I'm about opportunities, equal opportunities given fairly to everyone. And if a woman can do it, then she should be allowed to do it. Or if a woman demonstrates that she can do it, other women, like we are setting up the platforms, and there are lots of platforms of other women championing for other women. The more we do that, the more we go out, the more we push out the relearning that women are part of the society. We can change the narratives that put the pressure on women, because this question reads that is a societal role that impacts women's mental well-being. We are the ones who would agree. The very first thing I did for myself while I was in therapy was to agree that these are my strengths and these are my weaknesses. I would employ every
Mm.
woman out there to understand who you are. Who are you? You are you. You are not another. Please stop comparing yourself with another. Embrace who God has created you to be. I'm big on God. I am seriously big on God. And because I'm big, seriously big on God, I know He didn't make a mistake by creating me a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And because I have identified who I am as a woman created by God to make impact in her society, I am carving out my own journey. It is my journey, it is my story. I'm not in competition with anyone. I am not using anyone's expectations. They are my expectations. So the first thing I do with women when I work with them is, who are you? What are your expectations? Leave societal expectations alone. The more you have societal expectations, I ask you, how much of societal expectations have you contributed to? So have your own expectations. Leave societal expectations. Let's work with your own expectations. The more you meet your own expectations, the more society will recognize your strength, and the more they will appreciate what you have to offer. And so again, I ask, what are societal expectations? Who makes these expectations? And why is it limited to gender? As societal expectations, as far as I'm concerned, is across humanity, not just a gender. Hey, good morning. So the more we allow, we encourage, especially women, to move away from this expectation, the more we will help them align and realign to their own purpose, their own expectations, their own goals, their own objective, their own reason for living, not living anyone's own. We mount the pressure more when we ask, what are societal expectations? What we should ask actually is, what are your individual expectations? What are your personal expectations? And how are you developing your expectations? Yes, because you see, women are so angry now, they're beginning to develop themselves for themselves. And yet it is a wrong thing. We should develop ourselves because we want to give ourselves to others. We want to give of ourselves to others. We want to be of benefit to others. And that's the reason why we develop ourselves. Because if we develop ourselves just for ourselves, we wake up one day and find out we're alone. And we shouldn't be
Mm.
alone. Why would you live for self to self only to find out you're yourself? Only self. And so that's the danger of having these societal expectations. One of the danger is you just don't think of what others are going to be thinking of you first. Think of what you're thinking for yourself. Think for yourself first. Provide for yourself. Allow yourself to feel it. Develop yourself. Develop yourself first. It is when you have developed yourself, then you will complement another person's expectations. But the minute you start to meet other person's expectations first before developing yourself, you will end up empty. You end up unwell, I assure you. It's happening to a lot of women. They come to
You
my
can say
rooms
that
and
again.
they come to my rooms and we realize it's actually self-sabotage first and foremost. This may sound offensive to some, but it is first and foremost self-sabotage. You are building on
Where
other
you are
people's
the
expectations.
one, where you're the one
Yeah,
stopping yourself by your
yes,
actions and your
yes,
inactions.
yes, yes.
I get it. This is quite deep. This is very deep, Ruth.
Yep.
Um, and the thing is, the reality, the truth is that most women do not have expectations for themselves, of themselves, by themselves, and for themselves. A lot of us are going through the motions based on what society expects of us. So you're born female, so you go to school, so you go through the motions, you pass. You are not even at that point exploring yourself and asking yourself the deep questions of who am I? What do I want? If you're lucky enough, you get into the university, and once you're done, the next thing, in fact, even before you're done, maybe just a year or two to your coming out, the next thing you're hearing is once you graduate now, you get married. And so you follow the script. You
No,
follow the script and you get married. And then, of course, the script continues. Once you're married, then you're supposed to have children.
no,
And if you so much as even have an opinion and say, okay, I want so number of children, they say, no, 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 it's not your decision to decide. It is us that will tell you how many you want to have. Grandma is already in the waiting, trying to get all the babies. Grandpa is also there. Husband has his own opinion, and nobody's even asking you. Are you mentally, emotionally, psychologically ready for this journey? No, but
exactly.
so the woman just goes popping these children out, and then sometimes she goes as far as 6 or 7,
Oh God.
5 or more. Woe betide you if you now have like one and no more. You're not a woman. You're not a woman. How can you not be betting children every 9 months? And then as if that is not even enough, you now have only female children. Oh my goodness, you have just started the societal fight of the century for yourself. And so the woman is torn in between enjoying the fact that okay, I've done all the markers for how a woman should be or what a woman should be. I'm fulfilling them. So I've gone to school, so I've gotten married, so I've had children. But you see, there's still an emptiness, a pain somewhere that she carries around, no matter how glammed up it is or something. I didn't do enough. My
Me.
mother is not satisfied. My father is not satisfied. My husband is not satisfied. Then social media now helps you and finishes you that you're not a wife material. You don't have the whole 9 yards. Your own was made of 7.5 yards. So it's really so in all of this, you find at the time that the woman even has time to start thinking, who am I? What are my strengths? What do I really want out of life? Is maybe if she's in a work environment or a room like this, and is brought up, and she begins to ask herself, okay, so what really is my strength? And then if you throw into this mix the fact that most of us are doing what we do just because we want to make ends meet, not because we absolutely love the thing.
That's another one. Are you there?
So some people, most women, if you throw all of this in the mix, you find that the battle against societal expectation is a huge one. It's a very huge one, and it takes some kind of maturity. It's some kind of being aware of yourself to be able to sit down, introspect, really dig in to say, oh, I am Izine, and this is who I am, and this is where I am at. And it's from this point that I will start to evolve to become, And that's why I think becoming does not have an end. All of this, if something now comes and happens, why? The woman is gone. For instance, you have 7 girls. And God forbid,
oh my goodness,
your one dies.
Dear Lord.
And your in-laws descend on you. Your head is messed up. So what can the woman do to begin to find herself early? You find that most women that can have this conversation that you and I are having are women who are over 40. Women who feel like, I've done this, done that, I have the badge. So it doesn't really matter what anybody thinks. But we need a lot more women to come into this room.
I don't know. I think isn't his network has been. Hello, I think isn't it while we're waiting for isn't it to return. Okay. The challenges
Hello,
of technology, right? The challenges of technology. The challenges of technology. Can you hear me, Izine? The challenges of technology.
Yes. You're back on. Did you hear the last things I said?
Yes. Okay. I the one thrown out. I was on all the while.
We couldn't see you.
Oh dear. Oh dear. I thought you were the one that was thrown out. All right. You have described all you have described. Can you hear me now? Am I still on?
Yes, you are.
All you have described, all I hear you describe are still societal expectations. But you and I know, just like I have said, that we are part of this society that makes this expectation. And if you and I know better, why are we still having these expectations? That is why we have platforms like this to better educate women. We have platforms like this to better educate women, our daughters, and of course, now our sons. I didn't raise my children on gender basis. I raised them on capacity. And I'm throwing the challenge out there to every intentional parent that they should please raise their children not based on gender, but on being human beings, on being kind human beings who are positioned to help humanity. If you're a male and you are not kind, of what use are you to the society or to the world? If you're a woman or a female, you're not kind, of what use are you to the society? We continue to build these expectations because you and I, we have platforms that we can help younger women on to find their voice, to identify who they are, to make them understand that they have been created whole and complete. That if they decide not to marry, it is okay. If they decide to have one child and that child is a female, more or less, I think you were describing the African or maybe the Nigerian society. And yet, the world is a global village. Is it
Right
one
now, yes.
society's expectation to another or humanity's expectation? I still have a problem with that word, societal expectation. I think we should, you and I, on our platforms, since we have reached the stage where we can tell anybody else who we are and be comfortable with who we are. I think we can change that phrase from societal expectation to humanity expectations. How do you think that cliche would
Good.
work? How do you think that movement will change
Better,
things?
because what?
We need
Mhm.
we need such drastic movement. We need such drastic phenomenon to happen in the world for us to change societal expectations to humanity expectations. What are you here to do for humanity? If you have a female child, she's not going to help humanity. Or if you have only one, or they call it only, they call it, if you have one child, that child can't help humanity. Exactly, the more we continue to support the use of these nomenclatures, societal expectation, the more we give credit to them to
Mm,
use to batter the people who have come to help the world. So that's my take on
mm,
that. And secondly, I would want the woman, while we are at it, while we are fighting to get ourselves understood, that we have come to help the world, not just our immediate society. And we are going to do it with the capacity that we have been built with. You and I can start to help women assess their inner strength. We don't have to wait till they are over 40. We don't have to wait till they have had children and thinking, okay, now they are balanced in their husbands. We don't have to wait for them to be married first. And we don't have to preach, you are not married, then you are not complete thing. No. All of those things are the societal expectations. But we are forgetting that it is humans that make up society. And if we dehumanize people
mm,
just because society is wanting them to be certain ways, then we'll continue to have messed up society and a messed up world. Yes, my clientele will grow, but frankly, that's not how I want it to grow.
Thank you, Dr. Goma. You actually have a way of making this point, and it's almost as if you're talking to me, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers will attest to the same things. Um, you used one big word that is really what I think is missing right now in the world all over: kindness. It seems to be a quality that human beings are fast going into extinction. Kindness. We're quick to cut each other. We're quick to throw punches. We're quick to judge.
Mm.
We're quick to everything, but not quick to listen, not quick to
Understand?
empathize. And in fact, the only time we empathize is when we hear someone has died. Someone is going through all sorts. We're not kind.
That's
Then when the
right.
person dies, oh, we are all over the place shouting justice for or this or that or writing RIP. And it's almost very, very dispassionately RIP, RIP,
It
RIP
is.
all over. And
It is.
then I
It
mean it's
is.
just like, okay, one down, let's move on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
kindness is something that
Vicious circle.
we must imbibe in our children, and we must teach ourselves, because this whole thing is a personal race. If each
Yeah.
one can
Yeah.
teach self and then teach
Mm.
another, then
Yep. Yep.
before you know it,
Yep. Yep.
we have a compound interest kind of thingy
Mm-hmm.
happening.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm. That's it.
let's continue. Tell me, in your opinion, what are some of the common challenges women face when it comes to maintaining a healthy mental space? And how
Okay.
can we overcome these challenges?
Believing. Like I said, I am huge on the God factor.
Yes.
A woman, a human being has to believe there's a being bigger, greater, more awesome than themselves.
Mm-hmm.
If you believe that there's one more powerful than you, and the person is not human, you would understand that the basic daily challenges of I don't have 10 children of a woman. I don't have a job. I don't have a husband. I don't have someone who is telling me, how are you? You're beautiful today. You're fine today. Or you're not looking good today. Would stop. It would be the common challenges that women will face when it comes to maintaining mental health space is I am too fat, I am too thin, I am too slim, or I'm too black, I'm too fair. I'm not good enough. You're not good enough for whom? For the one who created you. That is why I'm huge, very huge on God. Because when he created you, and he didn't ask your permission to create you, he created you the way he knows to create creations. It's like a potter. When you build things, a potter, when you create your pot, or an artist when you draw, does the clay pot now decide what issues it is going to have? Or will your painting now decide for itself that I'm not good enough after my creator put the right dots and pecks on me? And so the very first issue that women have is still the thing that bothers our mental health the most. Complexion, size, weight. If we just let these things begin to weigh us down so much. And sometimes the annoying thing, because I hear it a lot in my therapy rooms, is that it is not for themselves. They don't want to lose weight for themselves. They don't like their complexion. It's for others. They want to live their lives for others. That's, in fact, as far as I'm concerned, the most common challenge that women have when it comes to maintaining their mental health space. And so, women, embrace who you are. Be comfortable with who you are. Be comfortable. Just trust that your porter, who is God here, has created you perfectly. Because I know in the good book, it tells us he fearfully and wonderfully made you. He created you in perfection. So embrace yourself. Be happy that you are dark. Be happy that you are black. Be happy that you are tall. I listened to a podcast recently, just a few days ago. It says his challenge to everyone: if anyone is too tall, is taller than you, that person is too tall. If anyone is shorter than you, that person is too short. If anyone is fatter than you, they are too fat. If anyone is slimmer than you, they are too thin. As far as you're concerned, you are perfect. Enjoy your perfect person and get ready to compliment another. Don't sit in your corner and judge. We do that a lot and hope to be something else that we are not. Rest secure. Be secured. Develop personal self-esteem that is high to appreciate who you are. And the more you exude the confidence in liking who you are, the more you pass to the environment, to your environment and to around you, that you are ready to conquer the world. But if you want to conquer the world in your inadequacy, self-inadequacy, or self-acclaimed, self-prescribed inadequacy, so the very first thing, how you overcome it: accept who you are. Yes, if you want to do a bit of, if it is within your power to lose weight if you are overweight, and for health reasons, health reasons, please go ahead, lose weight. And if it is within your power to scrub yourself clean, not going to invest in bleaching things. Yes, because sometimes you wonder. I just had a bath, and the bath, the sponge was showing dirt. You have a bath in a little hour, the sponge is showing dirt. Maybe dirt is in the body. But please be confident, be comfortable, be comfortable. There was a joke around in the internet. I don't know whether it's still passing. That a woman came into well, and the very first thing she did, I think she died. She went to heaven, and God gave her a second chance. She came back to earth, and the very first, and God told her she was going to live for 10 years or so, and she went into plastic surgery, did a plastic surgery, came out, and just coming out, she was hit by a bus, died again, went to heaven and asked God, why did I die? God said, I didn't recognize you because she had just done, because she had just the first person God sent back to earth recreated herself, and her creator didn't recognize her anymore. Women, please be comfortable in your own skin. It goes a long way. It goes a very long way to helping mental balance.
Thank you very much for that.
Yes.
Thank you. For your Adele, how are you? Thank you. For your sent a comment. For your said, I find the statement very apt and quite instructive. Develop yourself not for yourself alone, but to give the benefits of self-development to others. Now, going to your answer, you hit the nail on the head. The greatest source of mental dissonance for a woman is her body image. We tend to forget that it is the us on the inside that we need to invest in and feed, so that if we have the confidence on the inside, if we are well on the inside, then it propels the glow on the outside.
Exactly.
Everywhere you look, all over social media, you find that women are fixing almost everybody parts. Almost everybody part, from hair to eyelashes to nails to boobs to bum to stomach. I mean, everybody is looking. It is very alarming. You get into a space and everybody looks hourglass. And I just look at it and I say, oh dear God, oh, so sorry for you, Lord. You went to great extremes to ensure that your daughters do not look alike. So much so that you even made identical twins not to have the same thumbprint.
Exactly.
And your daughters have woken up in this time and season, and they all want to look alike. And it's amazing. We keep talking about peer pressure. And when we talk about peer pressure, we refer to the younger people. But people my age are being peerized. People my age are doing surgery to change themselves when the change should actually be done on the inside. So that from the inside, you can now radiate all of that you want. What is it that we are all looking for? Validation. And really, there is no validation that is external. You must first validate yourself for yourself. Exactly. So we need to keep drumming this thing. See, an ugly person can be pretty. An ugly person can be liked. Don't we all know Whoopi?
Have you ever seen an ugly person before? I don't see ugly.
No, what I mean is, okay, good. Thank you for that, because it's also society that defines these things.
Yes, it is a character that might be ugly.
Do you understand? Because
physical, I never see ugly people. Never.
True. Okay, great. That's a good correction there for me.
Ugly. Yeah.
I'm clapping for you. Good. Thank you for that. So exactly. So it's on the inside that we need to build so that we don't, because you see, when this thing overtakes us, and you know the human tendency not to human tendency to focus on what we don't have. So the moment
Yes.
it gets into your brain that, oh, my legs are not straight enough, all you're thinking about, no matter what you've accomplished, no matter what you've done, all that is ringing in your head is, I need to fix my leg. I need to fix my leg. And you see, it just becomes a fashion thing. I remember nearly everybody now is wearing braces. Everybody wants to fix their teeth. At what age? You know, I mean, I'm not saying it's wrong if you can correct a few things, that are dealing with your
That
health or something,
will help.
but
Exactly.
correcting for the sake of,
Aesthetics.
yes, or that you are not comfortable or you're not secure in yourself, there is a better cure, which is what? To find out why you feel the way you feel,
Exactly.
to get to the
Underlying
root of it
issue.
on the
Find
inside
it.
and
Yes.
then deal
Mm,
with it. Because most
mm.
times you find that it's either a significant other has mentioned, I don't like your legs, or someone was bullied, your legs are yamish in secondary school, and the person now wakes up now and it's all kinds of, so that mental space is already messed up. It just requires a little pressure and it tips, and that's
So
what we do
it
not want to
behoves on
happen.
parents. It behoves on parents now. It is on
Mm.
parents, teachers, and caregivers to please instruct children as early as possible and to continue to drum it into their heads, into their minds, that they are complete, they are whole by themselves as they are. So I do not see how anyone can tell my daughter today that she's not complete, or she's too tall, or she's too fat, or she's too
Mm.
thin, or she's too. No. She's been told already that she's a champion woman. She's a beautiful girl. She is. And so it is, and from everyone around her, or everyone in the family around her. The same with the boys. And it's not just psyching them, it is building the inner will from
Being
within them, developing
confident, yes.
the self-esteem within them, so that even at younger age, they are not peer pressured. Talkless are getting to this our age, and then the pressure is peering. Did you say the pressure was peering?
Theorizing.
It's peerizing. No, those are
Oh
women
my
who were not
goodness.
told. Those are people who were not told they were beautiful growing up. Those were
Yeah.
people who were not affirmed as being complete, as being whole. But it's still not too late. No, it's never late. It's never late to look in the mirror and tell yourself you're beautiful. To do a mirror therapy and say, yes, I was
Okay.
created by the person who loves me the way I am.
It is very important that we understand that love of God. It's very important to understand that we're created whole and perfect, so that we
Yeah.
can change this narrative of I am not enough. You
Mm.
don't need to say to anybody you are enough. Just know that you're enough and be enough.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, we need to stop that narrative of I am not enough. Woman, you are
Yeah.
enough.
You
In
are
any state, in
hallelujah.
any way, in any manner, you
Yeah.
are enough.
Yeah.
You
Mm.
came fully verified, fully full options. You came full options for your
Yes.
purpose here on earth.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all you should concern yourself with is finding your purpose and what to do. Every other thing is a distraction, and we must recognize what distractions are and then eschew distractions. Time is going, but I'm going to push on. I'm going to ask you, how does motherhood or the journey to motherhood affect a woman's mental space? Because the other day I was talking with a friend of mine, and she was like, "Oh, I suffered a lot of postpartum depression. I didn't like my child for a long time, you know, and stuff like that." And most women go through this, but they cannot speak up because it looks unnatural for you to say, I bettered the child, I carried the child for 9 months, I'm better the child, and I don't like this child. And some of us look at our bodies after we've had children and we say it is these children that caused us to go out of shape, and all of that. And then we have
It's
some
not
sort of
true
resentment. Yeah, I know. I'm just saying we have
towards
some,
the
some
children.
sort of resentment, but we can't openly discuss it. And it's just there gathering cobweb in our mental spaces. Please, can you address this? And then give us support strategies or support systems that can help women navigate these, you know,
Oh,
times.
it is. I've had women come to my therapy room and tell me they're not happy being mothers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, women are beginning to speak up, and women supporting women and saying it is fine, it is okay. How can I help you through this motherhood thing? In the first place, some of these women have children because it is part of what they're expected to do, not because that is what they really want to
Mm,
do. And so now they have found themselves in it. They're having these postpartum issues of liking themselves and not really liking their children. Yes, women helping women. That's what I will call it. A man would know what it is that a woman has gone through. The 9 months, the bathing, having to suckle, having to nurse the child. So women helping women in this issue is what I usually would recommend. And so if you come to me as a therapist and you tell me, can I confide in you? And of course, yes, ethics expects that you should be able to tell me anything. And you tell me such a thing, the secret is kept safe with me. But I won't send you back home without procedures or how you can help nurture that innocent child in your care. I begin to make you see the innocence. The child was sitting pretty away in heaven. And then you and your husband, or you and your spouse, or you and your significant other brought that child. I begin to make you focus on the child and not yourself, and see how you can nurture that child and stop the the mental pressure in your head to see the child as your woe and your problems. The child is not the problem.
mm,
And a lot of postpartum issues are actually hormonal imbalance. And so with a bit of a test and assessment, we can find out the hormones that are not properly in secretion, and we can just help them be boosted and get you back on your way to loving your child. It is very strange. It is a very strange thing that a woman will look at a child or a pet or a plant and hate it. It is not in a natural order. Even in
mm,
the wild, even in the wild, animals don't, animals that do this, it's very rare. It's very rare. Postpartum issues and stress, yeah, could happen. Could usually would go on for 2 weeks, 1 month, some stretch to a year. But after that 1 year, and if you're still having that medically, you need to be assessed. We'll have platforms where we can help you access help and find out if what you're going through.
okay, we're waiting for. Okay, she's back. Yes.
Okay, I wasn't off at all at all. We can help you.
Okay.
We can help you assess if what you are going through is just hormonal or beyond hormonal things. If it is beyond hormonal things, of course you can check into proper care. But if it's hormonal thing, and for you to begin to see your child as the innocent thing that you have birthed and you must nurture and love. Reorientation, basically. We will do that reorientation therapy for you to begin to see that a child is something you would love, someone that you have brought to this world and you need to love. Do hormonal balance and just get you on your way to appreciating motherhood. and not allow the pressure of it cheat you from the joy and the pleasure that motherhood gives to women.
Very well said. You put that so nicely. And this, of course, will go for all those who also are raising single mothers who are raising children. They
Yeah,
carry quite a bit of stress in their mental space, and also widows, and at the same time, um, baby mamas. Uh, where I come from, it is said that it is not a good thing for a single person, one person alone, to raise up a child.
yeah.
It's supposed to be a job for two people. So
Because
anybody in that space is already having some kind of mental clogs that they're dealing with as well. So now let's quickly run. Could you please thank you very much, Youth and Truth. Youth and Truth says this is a good topic for all women. Thank you, ma'am, for this fantastic show. Lydia says women succumb to societal expectations but still don't speak up when these expectations weigh them down. Thank you all for joining the show. Um, Ruth, you will speak to all of this, their comments, much later. Let me run now and speak about very obvious symptoms of uh, mental stress. Some of the ones that I know you're the expert, but I'll talk about the ones that I know and you take it from there. So
yeah.
we deal with worry, anxiety, palpitation of heart,
Mm-hmm.
um, stress, overeating,
Yeah,
oversleeping, not
yeah,
sleeping
yeah.
enough, not eating
Mm-hmm.
enough, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We exhibit these are symptoms from my own understanding that these symptoms come to show that there is something deeper, but this is the way they manifest. So right now, post pandemic, a lot of people have lost their jobs, a lot of people have lost their means of livelihood.
Yeah,
A lot of people have lost heart. What I mean by that is they've lost courage. They don't even know
yeah,
what to do.
yeah,
When I
yeah.
speak to women in certain rooms, you find that women say they wake up and they don't even know what to do. Look, I woke up today, I don't know what to do. There's nothing on my to-do list. So this is not the one of, oh, my to-do list is full. Today you are awake, there is nothing on your plate. Because you see, even Nigeria has moved. I don't know the country we're inside. That Nigeria itself has moved. So I don't know how we're existing. The economy is it's
Yeah.
crazy.
I
Um,
know.
Everybody's getting creative to find a way of making ends meet. And frankly, women are most hit. What do I mean by this? Um, a large percentage of us women don't work. We depend on our husbands to bring home sustenance. Now, the
Yeah.
husbands are not even bringing the sustenance because
Anymore.
their cheeses have moved. And the man is now even frustrated himself because of what he's dealing with. And then he comes home and the already
Mhm.
frustrated wife, whose 20,000 didn't buy more than five,
Items
one,
on
two,
the
three,
list.
four, five. Yes, of tomatoes alone, no. And she's still wondering, how do I make this tomato to join with the rice or something? And then the husband comes back really frustrated and he's upset. I gave you 20,000 naira.
Mm,
So we have that
mm.
category. Yes. So, and then we have the ones that are achieving, the ones that are doing very well in their careers and everything. But now you see the pressure to find salaries for everybody is sky high.
Mm.
And this
Whew.
the mental space is already, you know what I mean, is
I
already
know.
hot. So how do we stay calm in the heat that we find ourselves in?
I do a lot of journaling. I
Mm.
do a lot of writing down. I do a lot of writing down. Yeah,
Just
thank
before
you
you go
very
far,
much.
this is my journal.
Oh yes, I have all shades and colors of them. I have small ones in my bag. I have really tiny ones. I have them on. Thank you,
This is my
women,
journal.
journal,
So we're not
journal,
saying something that we're not doing. You
journal.
pour out your frustrations.
Exactly. And so because you are not a computer, you won't remember yesterday's struggles. Some of them, if you have documented and found out how to sort them, then you don't need to repeat them. For those women, let me address the first set that you talked about, that wake up, they don't have anything on their to-do list. Please look for a place to volunteer. Volunteer your service.
Mm.
Volunteering is a huge, huge mental health relief. Volunteer. Don't expect to be told thank you. Tell yourself thank you from home before you get there. Then if you
Up
are the one
you.
that, yes, exactly. And the person who has a lot on their to-do list, find out, prioritize. Prioritize the ones that make the most sense of your list, on your list, I mean to say. And if you prioritize and write out why these are the ones that should go first, then and then on the things that are being expensive in the market, oh, everybody's going to the same market and things are just crazy. I know. But I also know that, yes, we don't have to break the bank before we eat nourishing things. Research on nourishing foods that are not bank breaking. Potatoes, sweet Irish, no matter how small. If you are not a young person, or if health will not allow you eat a spread of food, do a bit of research, women. Do a bit of research, mothers. Do a bit of research, sisters, and find out things that are within your budget. Now, there was a time tomatoes were very expensive. We turned to carrots. Carrot was in season, and we turned to carrots to make sauces. Those are big. You just have to create yourself. You have to. I don't like to use the phrase "think out of the box." Climb out of that box.
Scatter the box.
Yes.
Remove the shackles.
Remove it. Climb out of
Oh
that
my
box.
God.
Because if you allow the four corners of that box to determine how you are going to do it, you yourself say Nigeria has moved. Why are we still in one place when Nigeria has moved?
We
Our
are
geographical,
creating the new Nigeria.
we are creating the new Nigeria. So in creating the new Nigeria, we are going to be innovative. And you'll be
Mm-hmm.
surprised how much innovation lies in every one of us. If you would just do a bit of research on what can I do better, how can I do it better, to whom can I access it to do it better, you are just five people away from accessing the best of care, mental, physical, spiritual, economical, and social. We have our phones, and what do we use them for? We have devices.
Hmm.
What do we use them for? We need to put all of these things to use. If you are not doing anything good for you, just keep them in one corner. No, don't keep them in one corner. Find a way to make them, turn them into devices that will give you things, especially ones that will help your mental health. Sisters, mothers, aunties, grandmothers, please, enough of moaning and complaining. It is tough, but moaning and complaining doesn't take care of it. It is getting yourself into that creativity that I know God has endowed every human being with. And if you are stuck, ask for help. There are platforms like UPYOU everywhere, women platforms, so church platform, faith-based platforms, charity platforms that you can ask for help. It's not everything that you have to pay for, by the way. I hope we know that. Some of the things that you think are very expensive, actually free. You just need to know who will help you connect to the person to get it. There's Ezine here. Why are you not reaching out to Ezine? Ezine, they shouldn't reach out to you.
Oh, but everybody knows that I'm here, and my job is to encourage you to find yourself and find your purpose. So yes.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And the reason why people like us run to Ezine and do UPYOU Women Conference and UPYOU is because we know that we are putting ourselves out there, and you can reach out one to another. Women helping women is a strong thing I must continue to resound to women. Women ought to help women. We ought to be each other's wrappers. We ought to be each other's covers. We ought to be each other's support. We ought to be each other's pillar. We ought to be each other's voices. If we do this, we will overcome. And we'll overcome first with our mental health. Because sometimes we think mental health is not important. A long time ago, we thought it was only physical health that was important. But now I'm glad the world is fast realizing that mental health is the one that moves the physical health.
Because if you're not in a good mental headspace, it shows up in your body as illness.
Truly. It happened to me 15 years ago. I know. I know. I wasn't having malaria, typhoid. No. The doctors even checked for HIV, tested HIV, ran HIV test on me 3 times, and they didn't tell me about it. And the results kept on returning negative before they realized that this woman is not sick physically, she's sick mentally.
Exactly. And then they start throwing around big words like psychosomatic.
And it was a good thing I was a psychologist already. So the more they threw those words at me, the more I realized that yes, self-healing, self-help, and yes, I was going to reach out for, and I did reach out for help, and I got help, and I'm available to help.
So basically, women, stop treating symptoms. If you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling discouraged, if you're feeling lethargic, if you're eating too much, if you're sleeping too much, if you lack enthusiasm, if nothing excites you, if everything is a downer, it's time to call somebody. It's time to look out for your sister first, if you would like, and then next a professional. That's several of them who are willing to walk you through the process of getting yourself back on track. The truth is, we all carry dreams. We all have aspirations. We have things we want to do. But if our head space, our mental space is not positive, is not can do, is not bring it on, we probably won't get most of what we want to do done.
That's true.
One of my favorite expressions now is I say I am a river and my job is to flow.
And you're flowing.
And so every morning I wake up, I flow. If I meet an obstacle, I don't pause. I don't freeze.
Fantastic.
I just flow around the obstacle and I circumvent it. Because and I keep flowing because my job is simple. Flow.
Yes. Flow.
So whatever expression that, however you want to express it to yourself, that will make meaning to you, dear woman, please find it and express it. On this show the other time, a guest said, we're just like an onion. And you keep peeling off. You keep peeling off. Every day you peel off one layer of yourself. As you peel off the layers, it keeps going off, and one day your true self will emerge. And when your true self emerges, then you begin to bask in your purpose, in your glory, and you begin to do the things that you do without any without stress. It becomes seamless. It becomes easy to do. So it's not difficult for you to do stuff, And then another thing that I'm going to say here, and I'm going to ask you to confirm this, Dr. Goma. Life is never without stress. There is no life that doesn't have stress. Every life has one challenge or the other. What I have in my own short time here, what I know is, as you overcome these challenges, your muscles remember, So when the next one comes, your muscles just remember what you did to overcome and simply activate. And it becomes easier and easier. And so because it becomes easier for you to now tackle your challenges, it looks like you're coasting on a life that is free of challenges. But it's not. There is no such thing. So we must all understand it as women, that there is no such thing as a life without challenges. And frankly, like Ruth Goma has said, I'm equally big on God. And I actually believe that if He allows something happen to me or something manifest itself in my space or in my life, it is because He knows that I am fortified enough
Yeah,
to go through it.
that's true.
Yeah, because what I have dealt with in life and I'm still standing may happen to somebody else and the person will die.
Yes,
And
yes.
what that person who died as a result of what happened to me has gone through may happen to me and I'm off
Mm.
because I am not structured for that.
Yes.
That's why something small can disable somebody because it's not that person's lot. While somebody small can also carry something big. Whatever
Capacity.
comes our way, if we have the right mindset, the
Mm.
right attitude, the
Yes.
right thoughts, that, oh, okay, this has come. Not necessarily to kill me, not necessarily to disable me, maybe to disrupt, yes.
Yes.
But then if you sit back and think, the right thought will come and you take the
Yes.
right action, and then the disruption will not be forever. So
Absolutely correct.
we need to develop muscles to be able to stomach a bit of discomfort
Yes. Yes.
because the discomfort lets us find ourselves. Yeah. At this point, I'm going to ask you, Dr. Goma, to please take us through some mindful routines or exercises that we can all do in course of our day so that the stresses that we encounter do not linger, so that we can
Yes.
dissipate them and then
Yes.
charge on with energy.
Yes. First and foremost, what you need to do every morning is to be grateful.
Mm,
Gratitude is a huge, huge mental unblocking. You wake up in the
gratitude.
morning and you are grateful for 10 things even before you hit the ground.
Please write those in the
You
comments so that people coming
your
afterwards will be
your
looking at them.
mind, your mind will be blown away and you will channel energy doing the right thing.
Mm,
Please find time to breathe. I know some of us live in polluted areas, but if you can find the times of the day where your area has good air, clean air, find time to go outside and breathe. And if you find cleaner air within your room space, then please just sit still and breathe. And while you are breathing, just thank God. Just be grateful. Be grateful. Then, if it is a few minutes of exercise you can do, maximum 15, 30 minutes every day, physical exercise, skipping, jumping, or stretching, or even dancing. Even if it's one sport dancing, yes, dancing. It helps with your mental health because you are building capacity. Just like Ezine correctly said, everybody must go through issues. The minute a baby is born, they go through issues. So it is building mental capacity, the capacity to overcome. And the more capacity you build by overcoming some of the things that you're going through, the more the next one, the more you are better built to handle the next one. And so we've talked about gratitude, we talked about breathing, we talked about exercise, and then please drink clean water, clean water. Some of us wake up and we drink Coke, we drink Sprite. I have no problem with Coca-Cola selling, but please, for everyone that you think to drink Coke, just drink a bottle of water. Drink water. Thank you very much, Barista Adeleye. He's a wonderful fan.
oh,
And
great.
so,
This is
and
good to know.
the more you journal, the more you appreciate things around you. And then practice forgiveness. That person did you this, you didn't forgive. The other person did you that. You don't forgive everybody. You are in trouble. In fact, they have taken my own forgiveness practice to the next level. Before you offend me, I will tell you I have forgiven you.
Oh my God. I need to
That
come and
way,
learn
that
that.
way you can't. That way I can't find any offense in what you have done.
Mm,
I help you look for excuse for why you are behaving the way you are behaving. And I help you give it a name. And that's where I can't even go to bed feeling angry. I practice forgiveness a lot. And because I practice forgiveness, I practice mindfulness that just helps me declutter my mind. And so we've talked about journaling, we've talked about gratitude, we've talked about um, uh, being grateful, we've talked about
Exercising,
forgiving, we talked
breathing,
about, yes, breathing, drinking clean water.
water.
Yes. And we're so blessed to have the sun in this side of the world.
True that.
Go to the sun, get your vitamin D from the sun. Yes, exercises do help our mental space. Get the sun, drink good water, say hello to people, smile, smile, smile. I don't see why people would just, who doesn't have a problem? A newborn baby I visited at the hospital last week was smiling. And I was just so impressed that, oh, this baby is not going to be bothered about the problems of Nigeria or but problems of the world. She has come out smiling. She's blessed already. And then finally, you must tell yourself that you are here to make a difference. If you understand what you are here to do, you're here to make a difference. And the more you find that difference you have to make to the world, no matter how tiny, don't be looking for big, big projects to make a difference. You're not Bill Gates. Some of us will never be. But I'm just happy to help one person in one family and one family and one more family, and I am fulfilled. Find what makes you fulfilled and please hold on to it. I hope that has helped a lot of people.
Thank you very much. It has helped even I that I'm moderating today. As always, when I talk to you, I come out feeling better about life and about everything. You know,
Thank you.
a few days
Thank you.
ago, I should be wrapping up, but my conversations with you never end. We start out, we say we're doing 1 hour, and we find ourselves
Good.
going to three
I will
hours
do
because
3 hours. I know.
you speak life and you give life. That is the
Hallelujah.
truth. You know,
Glory.
the other day I came home. There's something that I do. I envision my day, and even if the day doesn't go the way I planned, when I come back from wherever I've gone to, I will sit down and recreate whatever happened to have a happy ending
Mm, mm,
so that I
mm.
can sleep well. So no
Very
matter
good.
how no matter how south my day
Day has gone.
goes,
Mm.
yes, when I come back, I will
You bring
give
me
it
back north.
my happy ending so
Very
that
good.
I can sleep well. And I find that when I'm sleeping, God takes over and
Oh,
goes to orchestrate that happy ending that I created for myself. And when
yes.
I wake up in the morning, I'll say a miracle occurred. Yes? Because
But you
honestly,
created the miracle.
yes, but we need to understand that we may be in the physical world, but everything
Mm.
is supernatural. And so
Yes.
when we leave things in the subconscious, the subconscious world does what it does, and then you find manifestations all around
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
So on one such day last week, I was just, trying to recreate my day, and a thought struck me.
Mm.
And I actually made a quick video and dropped in the groups that I am in. And the video was, do not let anybody tell you that thing that makes you significant, that thing
Mm.
that helps you
Mm.
fulfill purpose,
Mm.
that thing
Yes.
that puts food on your table, do not let anybody tell you that it is small. There is no such thing as a small idea. There is no
No.
such
No.
thing as a small endeavor. Because
Mm.
no matter what it is you're looking at, like you said, even if you're looking at Bill Gates also started out with a small idea. And you will never really know where that small idea will go to,
Yes. Yes.
except you keep at it.
At it. Yes.
So, yes. So, in conclusion, while you're chasing, because that's another thing that messes up our mental space. We think it's popcorn. We think we just put an idea in a plate and pop it in a microwave and boom, bam, you're known. You're you're established. You're a brand. You're a superstar. No,
Mm-mm.
it takes some working, because
Yes.
if you take
Yes.
time and investigate or look into these brands that you like or superstars that you want to be, you'll find that they also paid their dues. They also
Yes.
went through the grind. So
Everyone.
we need to look after ourselves for us to be
Mm.
able to go through the
Mm.
grind. You know, the thing with life is that when you hear good advices, they sound like cliches. You know, when somebody says health is wealth, it sounds like cliche. When someone says take care of your mental health, it sounds like cliche until you fall victim. But we
Mm.
don't want you to become a
No,
victim. And if
no,
you're already
no.
a victim, we pray that you will escape. And so Dr. Goma is here, available to help anyone who needs to have a conversation, a consultation um, with her. I am here as well. You can ping me and we can have a conversation. It is important that we air out our heads, the way we air out our closets, the way we take out our shoes to the sun, the way
Yes.
we take out our
Yes.
bags to air, we need to sometimes, in fact, more often than not, air out our heads so that they can sit
Mm.
pretty on our neck and
Yes.
bring us the ideas that we need to navigate our lives.
Yes.
Because honestly, life is to be lived. We're human beings. Life is to be lived. We are not supposed to just whiz through the motion, make no impactation on anything, no contribution, nothing. We're just going through the motions. No, we're made a lot more. We are built for more. We are made for more. And for that more to happen, we have to be comfortable from the crown of our head all the way down to the sole of our feet. We need to love ourselves. We need to know who we
Mm.
are. We need to know our strengths. We need to know why we're here. We need to know what we're here to do. We need to understand why we should do it. And we should be able to do it in and out of season. We show up.
Yes.
If you go on this platform and the platform moves, you find another one.
Yes.
If you're talking to this group of people and you find out they are not the people you've been sent to, you go to the next. You just
Move to the
keep
next
going
one.
because you
Find it.
know there is a purpose for
There's a
what you are
place
doing.
for you. Mm. Mm. Mm.
And like Dr. Goma said, even if it's one person, because we're told that our Father in heaven would leave 99 and go after one.
And
So
go
even
after
if your
one.
purpose is to one person, then find that
That
one
person.
person. Thank you, everyone that has joined us on this live. I'm going to ask Dr. Goma, the one, the only, the nicest Dr. Goma, to give us her closing remarks as we end of this conversation.
Yes. In closing, I just want to remind everyone that mental health is serious and is not a respecter of anyone. It doesn't know whether you are big, small, medium, or if you do not manage it and it creeps in on you, you do not manage it. I assure you, no matter how wealthy you are, no matter how poor you are, no matter how knowledgeable you are, no matter how ignorant you are, it will cripple you. Please take our mental health very seriously. Do not ignore any tugging in your mind and in your heart when you don't feel right. Ask, ask, speak to someone, reach out, reach out and be helped, reach out and be connected. Human beings were not at all created to live and walk alone. We were created to be wired with one another. We were created as social beings. And the more we try to isolate ourselves, the more ingredients we're giving to mental health issues to feed on. Mental health issue is like a cancer feeding on sugar, feeding on the environment that builds it more. And it is isolation. Please do not isolate yourself. Reach out. There's help everywhere. Help is available. Thank you very much, Ezine, for having me over. I appreciate you as usual. God bless you.
Amen. Let me receive that blessing first. And thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for
Yes.
answering all the time whenever I call. You are such an amazing person. And this is what you're built for. You do it so well. You leave me all the time with hope. And looking at the comments here, a lot of people have also received that same feeling of hope that I say you give. So thank you, Fayo
Thank you.
Adeleye. You're a
Thank
fantastic
you.
he for she. Thank you for getting some nuggets, and we
Yeah.
hope that we have also helped you so that you can understand the women that are around you at home and at work, so that you will understand when they are exhibiting some symptoms and be able to
Yeah.
point them towards
Yeah.
Dr. Goma. Thank
Yeah.
you, Ehaha Ahaho. Thank you, Lydia Waizu. Thank you. There's so many people. Youth and Truth, thank you so much for joining today. This is where we will wrap up today's show. I must say it's been a very interesting discussion. Of course, there are so many aspects that we haven't touched on, but with the little that we have done, I am very certain that we can all start from today to be intentional about our mental space. We need to declutter. We need to declutter. We need to forgive. We need to let me just paraphrase Dr. Goma very quickly. We need to declutter. We need to forgive. We need to be
To be
intentional.
grateful.
Yes, we need to be
We need to
grateful
keep
about
journal.
everything that we have. We need to keep a journal about everything, never go to bed angry.
Angry.
Forgive even before anybody comes to ask you for forgiveness. Life is to be enjoyed, is to be lived. Nothing is that serious. Nothing, absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
And nothing is
Nothing.
about you.
Yes.
Nothing is
Yes.
about you. No matter what is happening in and around your space, it is not about you. If you
No.
have this attitude, you'll be able to overcome every time,
Mm.
whatever life throws at you. Life is life, and life must happen, you know uh whatever life decides to happen. The important thing is to build ourselves so much on the inside that we do not fall apart at any red flag that comes. So it's been quite an interesting discussion. I've learned a lot, and this is where we'll wrap up today's edition of Opi with Ezine. Please follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook at
Twitter.
UPYOU with Ezine. Yeah. Do get copies of our books, UPYOU and When Adversity Strikes, Fight. Big up to everyone that is involved in creating this magic every week. We come to you every week starting at 10 a.m. And so please, next week, please join us because we'll be discussing a different topic. Our theme for the whole of this October is Woman Act Now, where ACT represents action changes things. It is only when we take the right action at the right time in the right dimension that we will see the change that we desire. So thank you to all of you for joining in. Thank you to our guests. Thank you to the amazing UpU team. You all stay strong, stay blessed, stay lifted. Remember, it's all about you finding self, finding purpose. My name is Ezine Kufure Kanem. Until we come your way next time, it's
Thank you.
up
Hope you.
you. And bye for now.